Does anyone have a question? No, the silence is really the language of higher energy in the universe. And if you listen really deep inside, you'll hear the sound of Om, the voice of God, creating everything that exists in this universe. Everything around us is being created by this higher energy. And the silence is such an incredible voice, which really, nurtures us, it fills us with so much energy. The product of the mind being quiet, emotions being quiet, sexual energy being quiet, chaos being mastered inside ourselves. And it comes back to something so simple that it's almost hard to believe, the silence. Does anyone have a question? And don't be afraid to break the silence. That's also part of the growth process, asking questions from places deep inside yourself that will help create transformation inside.
Stuart, I have a question. Bob Sink.
Yes, Bob?
I found out last night from my sister that her husband has Alzheimer's. And I may never see him again, but it brings up a deep question inside as far as how one is in relationship with those that have not a disability, but different awareness levels, how to be in relationship and connected with that person.
Well, look, my answer to that is really simple, Bob. People we love live in our hearts. People we love are always inside us, and they'll be with us for the rest of our lives, actually through eternity. And I think if your relationship has that depth with your sister's husband, then he lives inside you. I mean, my parents live inside me. My daughter, Rudy, lives inside me. Nityananda, and they all really have taken up residence in my heart. And if the heart is open, the soul of that person, you will be, for the rest of your life, you will be in touch with the soul of that person. So I think it's, again, a product of opening the chakra system, developing the chakra system. And in the development of the chakra system, we find these remarkable beings that have been in our lives, the people we have loved, that they all live there. They live inside our hearts. When I was a kid, I was 6 years old. I used to lie in bed at night and I would be constantly repeating the name Rudy. Rudy, Rudy. And it used to make me crazy. Who the hell is Rudy? I was a young kid. And it was Rudy who was speaking to me from my heart, the ancient connection that I had with him. And of course, it took training and learning and growing to be able to recognize how profound that Rudy was, and how even at the age of 6, it was guiding me to him. There's another element to this, Bob. I was reading the other day, somewhere in the news or the media, that they found some drug that can, stifle the growth of Alzheimer's. Now, I don't know much about this. I'm not into allopathic medicine and all that stuff. But it might be something that for you and your sister to investigate if they don't already know about this. But somewhere in the world, I don't remember exactly where, they have manufactured a drug that can stop the progression of Alzheimer's. So you might go and try to find that. I'm sure you can find it on the internet. That's where I read it, But, the real answer, that's part of the answer. But the real answer is God is love. Love is an open heart. Love is the ability to keep our hearts open. And when a person truly can keep their heart open, there isn't loss. Because the souls of these people live inside us. And they will guide us for the rest of our life. They will be with us in the next incarnation, or wherever our soul happens to manifest in its next, in its evolution. So I think that is part of the work, Bob, is finding that in yourself, finding your sister's husband in there. I mean, it's shocking. I mean, I had a good friend of mine who got Alzheimer's, and I went to see him, and I didn't know he had Alzheimer's, and I walked into his apartment, and I was just shocking to see how this incredible person who was a Tai Chi master, he was and his whole system was deteriorating. But, the answer really is everybody's going to leave this planet for one reason or another. I mean, really, we're born, we live, and we die, What's immortal is the soul, which is connected to infinite energy, and a chakra system, which helps to develop the evolution of that soul and makes it possible for us to love unconditionally people that are alive, people that have passed on, people that are close to us, people that have mentored us, that have made it possible for us to grow in our lives. And that is an organic process that unfolds inside a human being as you develop a much stronger connection with higher energy in the universe. I mean, my parents weren't terribly spiritual. Yeah, they were quasi-Jewish social, bagels and lox on Sunday mornings and all that stuff that gave you the feeling you were Jewish, But, for God's sake, they gave birth to me. And because of that, they live at the center. I don't know what this thing keeps happening about computer going off and coming on again. So I don't know if you all experience that, but on my end here, this happens, But anyway, I remember when my father passed on, it took me years later to learn that he was my first great teacher. I didn't even know it at the time that it happened. But his passing completely transformed my life. It set me on a path to have a spiritual life, something I did not really know about when I was younger. I mean, I was into sports and basketball and getting an education, becoming a professional. And you know, my father's passing transformed me, it changed me. And it set me on a path which has enabled me to be doing what I'm doing today. Finding Rudy, getting the training, getting the growth, taking this responsibility upon myself to serve God this way. It's the same thing with Rudy's, you know, passing. It was the same exact thing. My mother's passing was the same exact thing. So just love the person involved. Go visit them, love them, find them in your heart, you know, and try to really interact with them in such a profound and conscious way. Not at all lecturing them about spiritual practice, but just loving them unconditionally.
Thank you, sir.
Also, if it's their time to leave, being able to, with graciousness and dignity and gratitude, to just let them go. It's time, you know, they're going on vacation. All the bullshit we have to deal with in this life. And they got to come back and work it through again, you know, until the soul evolves and they ultimately become one with God. Does anyone else have a question? If there are no more questions. Just an announcement, you know, Bob is working on upgrading my website, and I saw it today. It really is much nicer, it's simpler, it's clearer. And by this weekend, he told me that it should be finished and the website is going to be different. And we no longer call these things blogs. I never liked the word. So now they're posts. Posting these words of wisdom on the way, you know, and they're very interesting. The next one is going to be Tantra. So you should go there. I'm sure you're all going to be interested in that, you know. It's called Tantra. Does anyone else have a question they would like? Okay, God bless you all. Thank you. And again, you know, I bow to you. I pray for you. God bless you. You all are my teacher. You're really helping me to grow tremendously in my life. So I have nothing but gratitude for these classes and for the presence of everyone. Bless you.
Thank you, Stuart. Good night.
Thank you, Stuart.
On Wednesday.
Thank you very much.